Hello there, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw a body. I'm not going to introduce you guys to my setup because I hope you're already familiar. I got rid of the pickle jar and that's basically it. So you're going to want to start with a circle, which of course is going to be the head. And then you're going to want to draw a little point to show where that you want the head to tilt. If you want the head to face forwards, then drawing the circle, the little dot thing, isn't necessary unless you want your character to have extremely sharp jawbones, which is okay. Your style, your choice. Then you're gonna want to slightly connect this point to the other parts of the circle. Make sure not to overly do it so you can still tell that it's a circle. Then what you're going to want to add is the neck. You can make it as long as you want, but at the bottom of it you're going to want to add another line. This line is going to be the shoulders later on, so make sure to add the appropriate amount of broadness that you want them to be. Then you're going to want to continue from the neck and draw down until you get to where you want the waist to be. Slightly curve this line upwards into sort of like a slight semicircle shape, but only slight. Then below that, you're going to want to draw the hip line, which you want to be pointed in sort of the opposite direction of the waist, but even more slight than this line, because notice how it curves up more than this one does. Now you're going to want to connect the lines. For the hip line right here, what you're going to want to do is make a small triangle sort of shape, because that's where you're going to want to put the legs. Add circles where these are, based on how thick you want the thighs to be. If you want them to be thinner, make the circles thinner, of course. Do the same with the shoulders. Make sure for the shoulders that the circle is a slight oval shape. That way you can more properly tell how thick you want your arms to be. If you want, at this point, you can create your neck shape. It's just optional because we're going to erase this all later on so that we can use it as our guidelines. That's just my personal choice. Some people decide to do this layer slightly lighter than their lining layer so that they don't have to do the erasing part, but I prefer to do this part just as bold as I would do the lining part, and I just erase it, but like I said, it's your choice. So now what you're going to want to do is decide on the pose you want. Add little circles where you want the joints to be and hands. For the hands, just so I can tell where I want the fingers to be, I'll put a little slight, whatever the heck this shape is called, next to a little line. The line being the thumb and this being the rest of the fingers. Proceed to do the same with the other arm. Of course, making sure that you have a left hand and a right hand. Which is a mistake seen a lot in art. Some people will draw 2 left hands or 2 right hands. Just make sure that based on the position that your character's in, they have one of each. Okay, and I want you to do the same with the legs, except for the joints, don't draw them as you make the limbs. Draw them as soon as you get to where you want your knees to be. Yes. Now, to draw the thighs, what you're going to want to do is go up here from this bigger circle we drew earlier and sort of make a small curvy line going down towards this bigger circle. Yeah. Now, whenever you get to the calf area, the front of it, just draw a straight circle down, but the back of it, make it slight curve like we did with the thighs. And when we get to the feet, you can just do whatever. In fact, if your character is wearing, like, some form of pants or dress that covers up their feet, you don't even have to draw them. And like I said earlier, which I did not, why do I keep doing this? Just repeat it with the other leg. And since I am stupid and completely forgot to do the arms, we go to there now. Kind of like the thighs, make the arms slightly curvy at the tops, but not too much. And make the forearm straighter. Make sure this little line part here is really important, because if the forearm is in front of the back arm, then this little line will be part of the forearm, but if the back arm is in front of the forearm for whatever reason, then that line will be in front of it. Okay, repeat with the other arm. Now we go up to the face. Now something I like doing is just drawing little dots to show off and basically graph where I want my facial features to be. Of course you erase it later on so that you can draw the features there, but for the time being it's the easiest possible. Based on the way the head is turning, you can draw your ears like that. If it's facing your left, make sure to draw the ear on the right side, and if it's facing the right, draw the ear on the left side. If you don't know how to properly draw ears, or if you struggle with them, it's easier to just cover it up with maybe a piece of hair or something, or some headphones if you want to draw them. Yes. Okay. So now is the part where you grab an eraser, and lightly erase all of this. Ow. Of course, if you don't want to erase all of it, you can just repeat all the steps that I have already mentioned, and instead just do it with a lighter pencil or a pencil with a lower graphite content, so that way it's already lightened out. Okay. Okay, now you grab your pencil again, and you sort of repeat the same steps. But if your art style is softer, if you use softer lines, make sure to do that. If your art style uses harder lines, then make the lines harder than the sketch, or whatever you'd like to do. This is the step where you add details. Okay. Make sure whenever you draw eyes that you add a slight line over them, not as the eyebrow, but as the eyelid. If you struggle with eyes, then that can really help them. Okay, but still make sure to add the eyebrows. Okay. Okay, at this stage you can also use the sketch that we did from earlier to see how clothing would fit onto your character or drawing, and help you more easily pick out outfits that match them. Okay. I'm going to be doing a simple outfit for this little example that I did, just so that it's easier for you guys to go along with it and see how I'm doing it. I'm not the best at hands, so don't judge me. Okay. This is also the stage where you add hair. Make sure to pay extra attention to the scalp area where you did your sketch, because your hair will be coming from there, but because hair has natural volume, you won't draw the hair directly, like, pressing against the scalp. It'll have some volume to it and will, like, more or less poof out a little bit. And there will be a couple strands of hair that will, of course, be above the scalp area. Give your character whatever hairstyle you'd like. Like I said, I'm going with something a bit simple. Yeah, that still matches the drawing's personality. And of course, add any details you want afterwards, like necklaces or bracelets. Yeah. Stuff like that at this stage. Give the cheeks some coloring if you'd like. You can either give it like connecting strokes, little lines, or some form of shading. But if you add stuff like that, it'll bring life to the character a lot more than it usually would. And yeah, that's basically how you draw a character, a little tutorial. Bye.